You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. You guys have been subscribing. This is awesome. We crossed 500. We appreciate it. So please, if you haven't, subscribe, comment, review, all of those things. Got a quote. We're just talking, our guest and I were just talking that 80% of the buying decision has been made when the homeowner calls you. It's a quote from Marcus Sheridan. Isn't that amazing? 80% have already made a buying decision when they call you. Today, we're going to be talking about inbound leads, dealing with inbound leads with the one and only roof strategist, Adam Bensman.
Jim, it's good to be back, man. I've been having so much fun every time we do episodes together. I feel like, I don't even know, it is number 3 or 4 or something, but it's a blast. And you got such good people around you. You bring in just such incredible talent. And I just keep hearing the buzz go more and more of folks who are tuning in to the podcast and watching the videos, and honored to be here. And I'm excited to talk about inbound leads because it's been a hot topic. I just had a gentleman comment on my YouTube channel. I should probably give him a shout out because he was the one that suggested this topic.
Yeah, man.
George Jaggy, YouTube subscriber, George Jaggy. So George, if you are tuning in, this one is in response to your question, which I'm pulling up right here. And he said, where was it? Anyway, we just went over, I'm digging through my list now. Anyway, George Jaggy, thank you. A video on how to deal with inbound leads because they're different than door knocking. And what's surprising is how many people think that it's an easy lay down deal, but then make some very simple mistakes and then lose the deal. So we're going to hit 5 steps on how to convert those today.
Man, and I mean, we deal with that. That's what we do, is inbound leads, right? In our agency and Roofer Marketers, that's all we do. So we create inbound leads for roofing contractors across the country. And man, this is a challenge.
It really is.
I mean, some of the best clients we have, they struggle with this, and it's. I kind of talk about it as a relay race. Sales and marketing are 2 departments, right? Marketing is to generate that inbound lead. Sales is to take it and close the deal, right? So there's it's a relay race. There's a handoff of the baton, and there is a point in that process where we're running together.
Yep.
And that's that overlap.
Yeah.
The guest that I had on recently, his name is Jason Phillips from Phillips Home Remodeling down in Dallas. He has a full-on call center, and he made a comment that really stuck with me. And this is maybe a good way to kind of talk about this.
Sure.
He talked about selling the appointment. And I hadn't heard anyone say that in that manner, right? And that really, when you're dealing with an inbound lead, you're really, the first thing you're doing, you're not selling the job, you're selling the appointment and the value in that. So what are your thoughts on that, Adam?
Yeah, I love it. That was really well done. I mean, it's ultimately, in my videos, I've done some pretty forward jokes about, you're marketing. Sales is like marketing. So what we need to do is sell the next step, sell the next step, sell the next step. And so many people are trying to sell the end, which is get the pen out, sign the check, hand it to me. That the analogy, and I know this is incredibly abrasive. So if I offend you, mission accomplished. That's no different than going into a bar, walking up to the beautiful guy or girl and saying, "Hey, you're pretty. Can I buy you a drink? And you want to go home with me? Let's, we'll do our thing, and then let's have breakfast, and you can meet my parents in the morning." Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, you've got to be kidding. So many people try to go, they're selling too soon and too fast. So all we need to do is sell the next steps. And everything, if we break it down, inbound, forget inbound for a second, then we're going to come back to it. If you're knocking doors, all you're doing is selling the conversation. Get them to keep the door open. Then we're going to sell the need for you to get on the roof. Then we're going to sell the need to get into the house. Then we're going to sell the need to then start presenting. Then we're going to sell the next step and the next step and the next step. And with the inbound lead, I love that. Selling the appointment first, and then that marketing relay, that handoff, in my opinion, we're going to hit 5 steps today, is going to overlap in the first 3. And it's so critically important for this to be clean. I've had marketing agencies hire me, by the way, to help with this. Our guys can't convert inbound leads. And I've had roofers that say, hey, I'm spending hundreds of dollars at some point, depending on lead source, with management fees. You factor it in. It's just, guys, this is fact. Those we don't take it seriously enough that it costs that much money. So when we can get more juice from the squeeze, we can get more competitive. And I fought against it. I'm curious what you think on this, Jim. In the digital marketing world, they say he who can afford to pay the most to acquire a customer wins. And I always thought that's bogus, totally bogus. But when you and I did we did our webinar on the omnipresent framework, and how which, by the way, if you haven't watched that, is that available on the channel?
The Everywhere Framework. It's on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in Roofer Marketers and look for the Everywhere Framework.
Yeah, the Everywhere Framework. Your ability to compete with the big boys goes up when you have a right system that can convert those leads, because you'll be willing to spend more on them. And so many people look at it backwards. I don't want to spend more than $100. Where in the world did you pull that number out? Okay. I'll spend $2,000 if I'm going to get in the neighborhood and sign up 3 houses, and I'll write them a check every day. Sure. Here's $2,000. I'm getting 3 roofs from it. That's a chump change. It's a cash machine. So anyway, sorry, I answered your question with too much excitement, because I have a tendency to get zipped up.
To answer your question, it is the person who can spend the most will take the business, right? But it's not about that, but we have to understand those 2 things: customer acquisition cost and long-term value of a customer. And in that long-term value of a customer is really where you can calculate what you can spend on a customer, not in your customer acquisition costs, not how much it acquires you to convert the first sale. How many sales do you get from that? The long-term value is where you will really truly understand what you can pay for a customer.
Yep, absolutely. And that LTV, which, by the way, if for anyone who's not familiar, customer acquisition cost, CAC, CAC for short, lifetime value, LTV. People look at lifetime value, say, oh, I'm in roofing, I just do roofs. People won't need me for another 30 years. And you need to look at LTV in the roofing world differently, because you have, I'm just going to break it into arms. You've got neighbors, right? Like, the whole idea is neighborhood domination. You should never have just one roof in a neighborhood. That means that you were inefficient with your time. Okay. We have to leverage those 5 key touch points: new customer, job schedule, day of install complete, paid in full, with our appropriate sales touch points within those. We've got our referral program, which is in there. And then we also have their potentially insurance agent. I don't care if you're doing retail or not. So and then you have other relationships. I could just group, if we just want to do 3 arms, we could throw insurance agents into just other relationships. Yep. Heart centers of influence, as people call them. And what's crazy is you hit that home run with that one customer, and you get the neighbor, and then you get 2 referrals. You got 3 deals out of the 1. So what would you be willing to spend to get 3 roofs? And this is what's funny. It's like, guaranteed, if I just wrote you a check and you would write me another check back, what would you spend? And this is where we need to start getting smart about our marketing dollars, and having systems in place to not only convert the inbound lead, but to capitalize on the sales opportunities and the growth potential, the 10x customers, as we say. But yeah, it's, again, I used to hate it, because I was like, stay lean, don't spend money. And then as I got smarter, it was like, oh, well, every time we spend X dollars on this campaign, we get X back. How can we squeeze more? Oh, we can optimize our systems. We can convert more. We can get more referrals. Cool. Now we can start spending more because it's a predictable machine and not a guess. And I think every roofer listening, don't ever throw money at a guess. That's your experimental budget to figure out what works. But don't be like, oh, I just want to throw $5,000 at Facebook ads. Okay, that's not a smart choice. But anyway, I digress.
Good stuff. So back to 80% of the buying decision has been made when someone calls.
Yeah.
So when someone calls in, I mean, the first step in my, what I would think is you have to convert that inbound call to a home visit, right? To an inspection or estimate.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's start there.
Do that.
That's good. This is, there's less people making this mistake than used to, but I want to tell you this, if you are not converting the call you need to convert the call to an appointment on the spot. No questions asked. I'm going to give you a framework to do that. If you're not capable, newer company owners, I've been there. It's my business. Everything rings to this thing. Well, when you're in the middle of something or you can't answer the phone, voicemail doesn't make money. You spent $100 for someone to leave you a voicemail, $200 for someone to leave you a voicemail. So you need first to have somebody to answer the phone. And number two, you need to learn to convert that into an appointment. And I know roofing is crazy. We're busy. We don't have a pulse on everyone's schedule. And my number one resistance is, well, Adam, I can't convert the appointment because I don't know what my sales team is doing. They're 1099. Adam, I can't do it because their schedules are so volatile. And what I say to you is, no, you need to ask yourself, how can I convert the appointment? I went through this. Our office person, she resisted this process, by the way. So I had the phones forwarded to me for a week to prove it, and it worked. Called the cable guy method. I'm going to teach it to you right now. Hey, Peggy, by the way, anyone, one of my fans who's listening, Peggy is your best friend at this point. Hey, Peggy, thanks so much for calling. We'd be honored to provide an estimate for you for your roof. We do our appointments in 3-hour windows, just like the cable company, but rest assured, you don't have to sit around forever. So what we're going to do is just get your time set now. And within the next hour, you're going to get a phone call from the representative, project manager, whatever title you use, that's serving you to confirm the exact date and time. So would Monday or Wednesday be better for you? So we're first going to do the day. They say Wednesday. Say, great. So we've got 9 to noon, noon to 3, and 3 to 6. Which window is easier? Okay, Wednesday, 3 to 6. Perfect. I've got you now Wednesday, 3 to 6. Within the next hour, you're going to get a confirmation call with the exact time. If we don't reach you, we'll leave you a voicemail and shoot you a text message. Appointment converted. Do I even know who's available? No. Does it matter? Doesn't. All that matters is now that person isn't going to do what?
Call the next company.
Keep dialing. And what cracks, imagine if you called up a barbershop and you said, hey, I'm looking to get a haircut. And they go, yeah, we're pretty busy. Give me a minute. Let me figure out who can take you. We'll call you back in the next day or so. Okay. Which is how many roofing companies operate.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be like, okay, well, they're just totally buffoons. So I'm going to move on to the next one. So step 1 is convert the appointment. Try that cable guy method. And for those of you that are thinking, well, Adam, what if we can't run it? Because I know that's going to come up. And if that comment already got dropped on YouTube, you can erase it now. No, I'm just joking. Leave a comment, make another one. So if you can't run it, it doesn't matter. You find the rep who can. We are in the service business. The higher speed to lead. This needs to be your mantra. Speed to lead. That handwriting sucks. That says speed. Speed to lead is the number one lesson. So the sooner you get it booked, and the highest close rate individual should run that appointment who's available. That's my opinion. It might not be popular. I don't believe in equals. Not when checks are being written. Guys and gals who close or produce their own leads, earn leads, they get to close them. If you can't, this is where we give a courtesy call, because we promise within the hour, hey, Peggy, it's Adam here. I know you have an appointment with us from next Wednesday, 3 to 6. I'm really sorry. We had a scheduling snafu. Is there another day this week that works for you? Perfect. Now I just reschedule it. But I at least secured the appointment, and they're expecting the call. They're expecting that confirmation. So again, step 1, convert the lead.
So that's when I like to tell people, like, first of all, people feel like their problem is solved when you set that appointment. Mm-hmm. That's what you're trying to do. In everything that we do is problem solving, right? When the homeowner feels that their problem is solved, that's when we win, right? That's when you win the deal. That's when you win the appointment. That's when you win in that regard. People don't want salespeople at their house.
Mm-mm.
They
No.
don't, right? They don't want to be sold. They don't want especially a lot of them. Do you think of how overwhelmed they get when they submit their information on the lead aggregator sites, and all of a sudden it's for the next 5 days, it's bam, 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 people calling them. They're like, no, stop. We don't want any of you at our house. Right.
Yeah.
But it's that first person who got to them, had the conversation, set the appointment. Now all of that becomes noise. You will always have the person that wants three to five estimates. 3 to 5 estimate person is there. They are always going to be there.
Yeah.
How Marcus Sheridan says 80% of the buying decision has been made when they call. There's another stat that I found recently that 50% of people go with the first person that they talk to.
Mm-hmm. Speed to lead.
So now we set the appointment, right? The appointment is set. They feel like they're getting their problem solved. Man, I'm really glad that Joe's Roofing is going to come out and be able to give me an estimate. I felt really comfortable with Adam on the phone. You know, they sounded very professional. What's the next step in the process?
Next step is the appointment confirmation. This is a critical step that's missed.
Yeah.
With being busy. I do provide a new lead email in the battle pack. Anyone who's using that, it's often overlooked, but it's in the customer update emails. Click on that. You can use this one. Listen, the appointment confirmation to set the expectations, but very, very common. And I'm curious, you who's listening, if you run the lead and you get there and the homeowner is confused, they forgot filling out the web form. It was a telemarketing lead, or the spouse set it up. And you're like, you thought this was this hot deal and you're on an uphill battle. So the appointment confirmation reminds the homeowner what they just did. Thank you for filling out the form on our website. We're so excited to meet with you to talk about your roof. We really enjoyed talking with you on the phone, whatever it is. Number 2, date time. Number 3 is, again, asserting the fact that they made a good decision in reaching out to you. I always like to include the expectations. This is what you can expect in our appointment. Okay. How is it going to go? What's being said? And make it valuable. You set those expectations for the appointment. No one wants, hey, you're meeting with us, expect 1.5 hours or 1 hour. And by the way, our salesperson's name is Mike, and he's not leaving until you either kick him out or call the police, right? Or say yes. Those are your 3 choices. No one wants to hear that. So set the real expectations of the service you're going to provide and how it's going to work and what they can expect. This will reduce your cancellations as well. And I personally, appointment confirmation, I use both email and I would use text as well.
For sure. When do you send that the reminder? The first reminder?
Instant.
Off the phone, reminder gets sent.
Always. Shows that you're on it.
How many reminders do you think is appropriate leading up to that appointment?
You're not going to like my answer. We're getting into step 3. Let's hit that with 3. Can we do that?
Okay. Yep. We'll do that with step 3.
I'm going to blend in the reminder thing. Now, step 3, reminders are important, but the purpose of the reminder, let me ask you, I'm just curious, the reminder is supposed to do what? Make sure there's no cancellation.
Yes. Reduce cancellation.
Okay.
Yep. Increase show rate. Yeah.
Increase show rate. What most people overlook are the valuable sales opportunities that are there. We need to do what we call pre-selling. So number 3 is pre-sell. And I'm going to include reminders in here. Okay. Now, anyone who knows Eugene Schwartz, if that name doesn't ring a bell, Google it. Eugene Schwartz, one of the greatest marketers of all time. He talks about the 5 different levels of awareness. We're not going to get into that today. High level summary is this. You'll see on YouTube ads specifically that story that captures you. It's called an indirect lead. People that show up, you're like, what foods do I need to avoid to stop gaining weight? How can I watch this? And then they're going to sell the thing, right? So it's an indirect lead versus a direct lead. Apple sells an iPad. You don't see a sexy headline for an iPad or an iPhone. New iPhone 12 price. That's it. This is a direct lead. Would this direct lead work for someone who has no idea what's going on with cell phones? No. Who's never bought a cell phone before? No. So the more aware someone is, the closer they are to a buying decision. How do we do this with our reminders? Is we pre-sell. We give them information to validate. Remember, 80% of the buying decision is made when they pick up the phone. They've researched you. They are already comfortable enough inviting you to the house. They've already vetted you. They threw your name in the hat. You're in the top 3. So the check is written out for $20,000, $25,000. All they need to do is finish writing the name. All you need to do is go there and be a likable person to get it on there. I know there's more to that. I was oversimplifying. But my point is, when we pre-sell, after the appointment confirmation, and this is where it gets tricky, because the appointment speed to lead might be the next day, could be same day. If it's 3, 4, 5 days out, I want to send some information to excite them. Thank you for choosing us to serve your roofing needs. Here is what you can expect in the appointment. By the way, don't be afraid to be redundant. Not everyone reads every email. Number 2, social proof. Why have other people chosen to work with you? Here's what our past ex-customers have said. Here's why over 2,000 people in this area have said about us. Here's why we've been voted top roofer for the last decade. Here's whatever it is. I don't care if you're brand new. You could just use screenshots from your top 3 latest customers that said something nice. So appointment details, what you're going to do, how long it's going to take, answer their questions, why other people have chosen you, social proof. So you can stagger those into, here's why, 25 homeowners in your subdivision have chosen to work with us. Here's why 600 people have rated us an average of 4.2 stars on Google. Then your next email after that, all these are the reminder with some touch points. Reminder, touch point can include details about your status as a ex-elite installer for this shingle manufacturer, any accreditation, any licensing, things that stand out. So dripping this to build trust, because remember, we got to knock down the 3 dominoes: trust, need, money, in that order. And when we can build that trust, they already kind of have the need established because they already picked up the phone and called you. So we can kind of smooth these dominoes over. We're really setting ourselves up for a laydown deal. So to get back to answering your question is how many, in my opinion, bare bones minimum, bare bones, instant, day before, morning of, hour before. That's how I would do it in an ideal world. If you can't do any of that, instant is good and call on the way. Okay, I just gave you the ideal. If you have automation capabilities at your disposal, you'll be able to set these up in that way. If you think that's overkill, do it anyway. The amount of deals it will help you make versus the people that will get frustrated are far outweighed. Anyone who's booked a call with me, I am in your ear. You will not miss my call.
Us either.
It's just.
And it's so one of the biggest kind of complaints with dealing with contractors is communication.
Absolutely.
If you can be a good communicator, you will win.
Mm-hmm. Roofers make it so easy for us.
So easy, right? And so, if you want to compete in your marketplace, this is simple. Even if you're just in a startup phase of your business, if you're doing this, if you're communicating with a customer like this, you are going to stand out above and beyond most companies in your area. They don't do it. Then there's cool stuff like one of the members of the Pitch Pro movement. We won't mention their names, their company on here now, but they just had a new video shoot done. They're one of our clients and roofer marketers, and now they have videos for each step of that reminder process. And they like, you can take this to a super cool level of communication that's really impactful to that homeowner. But start with one thing, right? Text and email, just do something, right? Phase 1, do something. Phase 2, do something better.
Yeah.
Even if it's just that one appointment reminder and then the morning of, or something like that, right? Then build in figure out build in, take a couple of screenshots of some of your Google reviews. And, now you have an email or a text message with that. Now you have, right. And now you can build this in to where it's part of the rhythm of your sales process.
Yeah. I love the word. I'm writing that down, the rhythm.
Because it makes a big difference. The homeowner does not know the value in you coming out and doing an inspection.
No. And when we talked about roofers making it easier, the top complaints of contractors: poor communication, took too long, cost twice as much. Those are the 3. Okay. You show up on time, you communicate well, you're ahead of the rest. Now, if we start layering in some sales psychology, anchoring, people anchor decisions based on the first impression. Okay. So if I walked into a restaurant and the first thing I saw on the menu was $65, and then I saw a $22 burger, the $22 burger is a bargain. But if I walked into a burger joint and I was like, $22 for a freaking hamburger, now I have sticker shock. Likewise, if you deal flying, if anyone's flown these days during all the things that are happening, you walk in. I remember vividly, I walked up, had the worst customer service ever with this airlines. Like, I walked up real nice, like, "Hey man, how you doing? Just checking in. Needed some help getting I was actually flying a shotgun home. So I had to do the declaration thing." And the guy was a total goober. I would use way more creative language if I could. He really made me mad. So after that, anyone that was even half polite, I'm like, TSA was really nice today. Why? Because I was measuring it against the first impression. So when you have this strong first impression, everyone else is measured against what you do, which we're going to hit here on number 4 in just a second. That first impression is everything. And it is stupid easy to take care of people. It really is. You make people feel comfortable. That's my favorite. I shouldn't say that joke. I always say it's my favorite word to use: comfortable. It's a great way to ask for the business, by the way. The if then. If we can do this job at this, would you be comfortable choosing us as your roofer? Okay. Side note. Comfort's a big thing. People that feel comfortable do the things they feel comfortable with because people seek comfort. The end. That's all I got on that. Also, I don't believe there can be too many reminders.
No.
It'd be very hard to have too many.
Yeah. Over communication is much better than under communication. If you are worried about over communicating to a customer, you really have the wrong attitude. I have someone that I know that's in the real estate investing side of things. He owns a big software in real estate for real estate investors. And one time he told me, I was like, "Man, how many emails?" Because he sends a lot of emails. I was like, "How many emails are enough emails?" And he said, "I send emails until people unsubscribe." Like, that's when you're not sending enough until people are saying stop. So you're not communicating enough until people are telling you, "Hey, okay, thank you for the 73 reminders. We really understand this." I would make an assumption that you could get 5, 10 plus reminders in there, depending on the length of time between the appointment set and the appointment. The shorter that time frame, the less reminders there'll be, because there's just not enough time, right? But if you have a week, if you have 2 weeks, man, you can really hit them with value for those 2 weeks until you're able to get out to their house and do that inspection.
You hit the word though, value. And so many people I just had a company hire me to audit their sales process. They're doing something unique. I'm under an NDA. I can't share all the details. What I can say is there were reminders going out. One of my first things was you can't just say reminder, appointment time, date. Like people, that just says like, I just really want you to show up because we got something to sell you, versus like, hey, reminder, by the way, here's some information. Here's resources. And so many people say it's too much. No, consumers now, we are in like over research. I'm in the middle of shopping for $100 beater watch. Okay. Because I don't like wearing my digital watch when I'm out running. I was out hiking with my wife and I hit the SOS on it. And I'm like, I'm done with the thing on the watch. I just want like a field watch, $100 to $200. Like I am hours into researching and looking at the different options and comparing. Our homeowners are doing the same thing. And they want that. So don't make it hard for them. Give it to them. Who are they going to know more of? You, who sent the reminders with some value and some insights for them to do their homework, or the guy that either didn't send any reminders, once they called, they completely forgot about, or they had to go dig up the dirt. One thing Marcus Sheridan said when I saw him speak at Roofing Process Conference, he goes, one of the strongest indicators of a purchase is when people search the product name in the word problems or bad reviews. That's it. People want to know. That's the indicator of I'm right at a buying decision. And you don't want that person who doesn't have that information to turn to the internet and say, jack of all trades roofing company, negative reviews. And then the two nasty customers you had just cost you business. So that was that.
So now we've sent them a bunch of reminders. We've added value in understanding the process that this is the process that they're going to go through. This is the value of us coming out to your home and helping you solve this problem. What's next?
This is where we need to ace the intro in the house. Now I'm going to talk about what this means on an inbound lead. I ran a sales appointment not too long ago with a gentleman, and I was excited. I love getting out in the field doing this stuff. We show up at the house, and the classic answer at the door. My wife, you guys called us, some telemarketing thing. My wife said yes to this. That was literally the intro. I'm like, we're going great. This is a great start. So the reason I share that, especially in today's day and age, when people fill out forms online, I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, when I need bids on things, like I needed a concrete bid, and I don't want to pick up the phone and call people during my workday. I'm like, who's going to respond to me? I'm going to give you all the information. I took pictures. I'm like, I'm going to make your job real easy. Here's the dimensions. Here's the photos. Like, just call me, show up, do your thing. So at night, I just fill out the forms. I don't remember the name of one company. I looked, Google review, pretty good, local, looks legit, form submit. Literally, I copy paste, boom, boom, boom. When they call me, they're like, yo, it's so-and-so concrete company. I'm like, I must have contacted you. I don't know who you are. People do this. So what we need to do on that intro is remind them what in the world they did. This is where the sales and the marketing baton, this is where you're hand in hand together, where you need to know, the salesperson needs to know the source of the lead and when it was booked. And you need to remind the homeowner, hey, thank you so much. I'm glad that you found our website. You probably did your homework before finding us. And I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for doing that. Okay. Hey, the reason I'm here, it looks like you were searching for a roof on Google and you gave us a call. By the way, refrain from like office lingo, like, oh, you were a pay-per-click lead. Like, don't say something like that. Like I know sometimes it comes out like without trying. They found you on Google. Hey, looks like you found us on Facebook and you reached out for an estimate. So the number one thing is to remind the homeowner what they did, where they did it, and that you're glad to be there. Otherwise, and it's happened to me before we got our wood stove installed, I didn't remember who I called. People aren't showing up in logoed up trucks. They didn't have wraps. These are small companies. I'm like, which one are you with? I literally said that to a guy. I'm like, who are you? Like, I know we had an appointment. I don't remember who it was with. So just tell them. And again, trust. And it puts them at ease and it reminds them who they are, because you don't want them to have to ask. I know it may sound simple, but I cannot tell you how important that little step is.
That may make that connection, right? Mm-hmm. To that initial appointment set, to the right, so that you're connecting the dots along the way.
Yeah. People want to know they're doing good things, smart things. What's the doctor tell you? I'm really glad you came in. Glad that you decided to get this looked at.
That's like, right.
Thanks, man. Me too.
Me too. Yeah. Glad to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me some good news. All right. So that's number 4. Anything else that we need to hit on that? That one's pretty simple, but also don't overlook that step.
Yeah. It's good to preface it, right? Like to preface each step, right? And to build to build those points along those milestone kind of things along the way. Hey, we booked the appointment here. Salesperson called to confirm. Reminder emails, reminder text messages. Now the salesperson is at the door, connecting the dots. Now you're in the house. You get like it's the trust building, right? You're just continuing to build. You're making your company is being understood. Like I did a podcast with Ryan Ketterling recently, and I've been quoting this one a lot. But it's about brand, right? In your customers are understand. This is all part of your brand, right? The way that you communicate with the homeowners is all part of your brand. And if you show up in the truck that's not wrapped with the kind of rusty ladder rack, and that's telling them something.
Yeah.
Right. That is communicating to them. So all of this that you're doing along the way, you're building a level of communication. It's not just the communication that you're having with them. There is a higher level of sales process going on in this, right? In this whole process, when you're having that communication, you are telling that customer, you can't negotiate with us, right? We are the best, right? When, you look at every Google ad, it's going to be, top in our area, number 1, this and that, right? Same with Facebook and all of your online marketing. You can communicate that and show them with proof why you are that company through those touch points, through those milestones of communication.
Love that. You go one step further on that. You look at Jack Schaefer. If anyone's watched my channel, you've heard me talk about Jack Schaefer a lot. He's a former FBI agent. His mission was to spot spies, foreign spies in the U.S., and get them to convert and spy on their own home country. And he speaks about this. So this is full credit to Jack Schaefer. Book, The Friendship Formula, by the way. I believe hold on. Nope, that's not the wrong book. The wrong book title. Jack Schaefer is the author. I'll pull up his book. At any rate, the friendship formula is 4 things: proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. Proximity, frequency, duration, intensity. So when we look at, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. This is like sales 101. So then we have to break that down. How do we develop likability? Well, we get people to like us as a friend. The friendship formula: proximity is how close you are to them. Frequency is how often you're there. Lots of reminders, lots of touches. Duration is the time involvement. So there's the touches, which is the frequency. So if we were to break into door knocking, how many times you were in the neighborhood? Duration, how many weeks? Was it 1 day? Was it 3 days? Was it a week? Was it 2 weeks? How many roofs have you done? And then the last one is intensity. And that's the emotional connection, the bond, the interpersonal side. So when you can start to tug on these little things before you even show up with those touches, that's building friendship, even if they don't know you yet. You have more impressions. You have a closer proximity because they feel like you're there. You got in their inbox, voicemail, text. You've got the frequency from the touches. and the duration has picked up. They've already spent more time with you than the next person before you even got there. The intensity is going to come once you're in the house. But anyway, I just wanted to share that one as well, because sometimes people need the nudge of the psychological reason that it's not theory. Like, this stuff works. It's human behavior.
Yeah.
It's like when you become buddies with the guy or gal on the flight that you sat next to and talked for an hour, and they feel like your best friend. Proximity, frequency, duration, intensity. In a small cabin. I want to be the guy in the seat that had the conversation before I show up at the house.
That's right. Because that's who wins the sale in the end.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be other contractors out there, right?
Yeah.
Like you're setting yourself apart in the communication rhythm. But there's always going to be other contractors out there. So let's talk a little bit about competing with the others.
Yeah. Awesome. So number 5, the cards are stacked, right? Who calls one roofer and makes one decision? It doesn't happen. I didn't say you can't get a one call close. They likely called other people. If someone had, as you put, what's the language you use? Intent. I'm missing the word before it.
Commercial intent.
Commercial intent. They jump on Google. Thank you. I should have remembered the commercial part. Commercial intent is different, right? Reminding people who are paying for advertising is someone that jumps online. So again, Eugene Schwartz, level of awareness. If I jump online and I search, I need my roof replaced because my roof is jacked up. That's, by the way, I know they didn't type the whole thing. We know I'm ready to buy. I am here to find the local roofer of choice versus the sitting on the couch drinking a beer a Saturday. You're scrolling through your news feed, you're doing the thumb rip, and you're like, oh, cool ad. What are those guys about? Oh, yeah, right. It's a very different kind of ad. So if you get this inbound lead, likely, no matter what source it came from, now that person's thinking, and they're going to search for others. So your job is to assess what's going on. By the way, anyone who's watching, if this word sounds familiar, it's the second part of my car park closing formulas, to assess what's going on with the homeowner. Where are they at in the process of replacing the roof? There's information that we need, because your presentation must be custom tailored to what it is and why it is that they're replacing the roof and where you stack up. And I want to hit this. So we're talking about assessing the situation. We're gonna find out a couple of things. First, where are you at in the process? I want to know, have you received other estimates? Okay. Are you seeing other people? See how this is like dating, right? Are you seeing other people? Are you committed yet? So are there other roofers? Did you get any other estimates? Where are you at in the process? If they are brand new, goldmine. You are some people, which by the way, I love being the last one in the house because it's so easy to sell against everybody. And at the same time, I love being first in the house because the experience they're going to have with me is going to set a benchmark that 9 out of 10 other salespeople are going to fall short. So I might have to get back there for the close, but I know that they're going to call me and be like, this Yahoo didn't show up on time. This Yahoo couldn't prepare an estimate on site. This Yahoo said the estimate would be ready and it wasn't. This Yahoo didn't have an itemized estimate, just like you warned me about. And then I'm like, great. Now their trust is even higher. So I want to know where I stack up. I'm hoping I'm either first or last. Okay. Either way, you can sell it. That's an entire separate animal. If anyone wants my style on that, that's the P present in my car park formula in one of my packages. You can email me, we can chat. And that whole piece, we have to tee up and set the expectations to watch out for what other people do. You can choose anyone you want. Here's why. And we use this to qualify the reasons for both retail and storm. And then number 2 is we need to figure out where they're at in the process, whether it's storm or retail. In storm, there's no claim. We have partial payment. We have a denial, or they're sitting on a check. I'm just writing paid in full. Okay. It's that simple. They didn't have anyone out yet. They haven't filed a claim. They want to know what's going on. Insurance came out, paid for some coverage, denial, or paid in full. Retail, they've got a problem. I'm going to make this active leak. Okay. These people need it now. Then we have a home remodel. Okay. This is a facelift, cosmetic upgrades. I'm doing the pergola. I'm doing an addition. I want it to match. I want to upgrade my house and make it look nice. I'm keeping up with the Joneses. I want stone coated steel. We're sick of the old look. Okay. The next one is, this is my least favorite, the planning ahead people. The planning ahead people are the, hey, we know our roof's going to fail in the next 6 years and we're just budgeting, which by the way, you cannot fault them. That's smart decision making. But the likelihood of a one call close on a planning ahead one, that's not as high. Or the other one is I'm going to put a life event. These life events are things like we're putting the house on the market, we're moving, we're getting old, we're passing the house down to our grandkids, those types of things. So each one of these is a different presentation, a different set of needs and urgencies. So when we know where you stack up and you can speak to this, you're going to watch your close rates skyrocket. I teach this in my closing strategy. And what's crazy is when people start doing this, they naturally close more. One of the symptoms that you're not doing this is you go through the whole deal and at the end they say, oh, well, I just wanted to get an estimate to plan ahead because our roof, we know it needs replacing. This stuff comes out at the end and then you realize you basically gave the wrong presentation. So again, recap, are they seeing other roofers? Are they getting other estimates? Where are they at? And then where are they at in the process, either storm or retail? And you're going to get a very clear idea in the very beginning. Remember, this is the second thing you do in the house after build rapport. Now you know how to custom tailor the rest of your presentation against whatever else is out there because the competition is stiffer generally on those inbound leads. That's all I got for today.
That's pretty good.
We can keep going. I'm just playing around. I didn't have any.
I know. But that's it, right? So now, like I talk about it in kind of on the marketing side of thing, especially with keywords with commercial intent. Google Ads is a very easy way to match what people typed into Google to the ad copy to the landing page, right? Now they made the phone call. Now the salesperson in the reminder sequence is telling them, hey, you did that, you came in from Google. And now you're continuing the congruency with which they are communicating with you, right? So you need to understand where they came from, but then what they're looking for and where they're at in those 4 phases, whether storm or retail. So it's carrying that through from the time we write the ad copy,
absolutely,
all the way through it, and it's something that can be done easily nowadays, right? We have the ability to do this.
Yeah,
there's so many cool softwares and different things that you can use for all of to automate a lot of the follow-up. There's so many, like, it's easy, man. I mean, it's not easy, it's work.
It is work, but it's worth it. And I'd like to add one thing to this. My just cause is to help every sales rep smash their income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. What you're doing by following this, I'm going to summarize. Number 1 is convert the lead on the call. Number 2 is remind the lead of the appointment. Number 3 is to pre-sell and remind before you even show up. Number 4 is the intro in the house, which is pretty much the same thing as step 2, reminding them what they just did. And then number 5 is how to compete against others by assessing where they're at, where you stack up in them talking to other roofers, and then where are they in the process from a storm standpoint or retail standpoint, so you can customize it. When we do this, we have just created an amazing experience from them from the minute you said hello until you showed up. It's very different than doing nothing and starting your relationship the day you get there. I want to start my relationship earlier because I'm looking to meet their parents. Oh man.
All their neighbors, all their friends and family. Like, we're looking to really create some long-term value out of this customer, right? And that's really you tell me, Adam, that I see the most successful contractors that we work with and that I know are the ones that are the best at turning one into many.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to quote one gentleman. I normally wouldn't do this, but I know he would give me permission. His name's Russ. He's in the Pitch Pro movement. And he says, the number 1 thing you need to do is give a damn. And when he first said that, I was thinking about it. I'm like, giving a damn, which, by the way, if you clean that language up, the number 1 thing is to genuinely care. That's what he means by give a damn. And this came up in a leadership roundtable that we had recently. It also came up when I met him at RoofCon. We were sitting around at the VIP after party talking, and we really got to digging into this. And it was really interesting after talking with him and then interviewing lots of really high performing reps and seeing the type of people who are really committed to growth. The guys, by the way, another Pitch Pro Movement member came up to me at Roofing Process, and I'm not going to say his name. In his second year in roofing, we went out to dinner that night with a few members. He did $300,000 in his second year. His second year, by the way, sales rep. Every single one of these top performers and great leaders have shared that you have to care. And it's the least sexy thing in the world. But when you actually are passionate, when you actually want your customers to feel good and they feel that, this is what separates like the cash grab company to the guy that started the roofing company. Like, why you start a roofing company? Oh, I heard you can make good money. You're like, cool, you can. You're going to get bored. Versus the people that are like really into it and they give a damn and they care. And it's a very strong divisive experience from that customer of those that, thank you, Russ, by the way, you're awesome, man, that give a damn or genuinely care versus those that's just like, lead came in, we'll show up when we get there. And you're like, how did you find us? They're like, I told you guys on the phone, like, don't you have your ducks in a row? So anyway, key takeaway, care. When you care, you can create an amazing experience and people will buy from you. Even if you're not that great at selling things, it will happen. So I just wanted to share that one piece. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ. And that's a big part of being a business owner, right? Like you have to care. And that's, where when I'm mentoring in the Pitch Pro movement or in the 7-figure agency, those are some of the conversations that I've had a lot of those conversations too, where someone is asking a question about their business and maybe what they should do next, or, hey, how should I structure this or that? And just in knowing, so I've told multiple of the people that I mentor, I've told multiple of them, I love that you asked that question because it tells me that you care.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you are trying to better your business, if you are making strides, if you're taking, even if it's small changes along the way in your business, if you're trying to improve, you're doing it. If you're doing that because you care about your customers, you care about the customer experience, you're going to win. It may take a while, it may take a short amount of time, it may take a long time, but that motivation to serve the customer on a higher level, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Different.
And it's a top down culture thing.
It is.
The owner and management team has to genuinely care. If they don't, no one else will. No. Because the level of care they give feels not supported. And then there's a divide in the values and the integrity of the rep at the door, making these promises and not thinking people can follow up to what goes on in the actual process. And then they lose faith on selling because the deliverables on the things that they can't control will not be fulfilled upon. And then they're going to jump ship and go find the next company that will.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you are, I'm going to throw in a little commercial. I don't do this very often, but I'm going to throw in a commercial, Adam.
Let's do it.
What are you talking about? This Pitch Pro movement and leadership roundtable and all this stuff. What is the Pitch Pro movement?
Let's chat about it. By the way, look at the sticker. The Pitch Pro movement I want you to think of this. Sales in business is an infinite game. And by the way, the word that concept of infinite game, Simon Sinek, his book, The Infinite Game, great read, by the way. We don't reach our top performance and then we've achieved it, we're there. And what I find is very interesting is there's this divide between people who in sales reach a certain level and they're like, I'm done practicing. In business, or like, I'm good. And then there's the people that are like super hungry. And those are the ones that you hear the wild success stories about. And they reach this level and they're like, how do I continually level up my game? Because you're never perfect. I do this in sales. I do this all day for a living. I have not gone a week in the last decade that I haven't actively been reading, podcasting, journaling, chewing through journals, and doing the work. So the Pitch Pro movement, I want you to think of it like like NFL practice. You reach the NFL as a salesperson or as a team, and you're looking for a place to train more and to train harder with a team of mentors to support you in the key silos of your business that you need help, and a place to turn to navigate when you have questions, you need support, you want to know what's working from other people. And that's what led to starting the Pitch Pro movement, which is the place to do all of that. Joined by you, Jim, the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer. I'll let you plug that. I'm in there. Deshaun Bryant, Roof Hustlers, the absolute stud for all things mindset. I know that by the time this airs, we'll probably miss it, but we're doing a kickoff session, which you'll watch the recording. Got John Cenac, founder of NTSID, John the Roof Pro, like the man, the myth, the legend of all things discontinued shingles. Matt Mulholland, one of, if not the brightest public adjuster and founder, or what does he call himself? The dean. Yeah. The dean of National Claims Institute, and really good people in a great community. So high level, every mentor, the 5 of us run 2 trainings every month. One's a structured training. The other's a Q&A for support. Okay. We're your go-to team on your team for you and your team, along with a Q&A. So 2 trainings, so 10 total. And then I facilitate, and other mentors are welcome to join in on a leadership roundtable, which is a captive group only of owners and managers. And that's really a community-driven effort to solve problems and innovate, share what's working, what's not. We did systems and processes last week, and private discussion boards to have these discussions in confidentiality, along with a whole lot of other benefits, which we can share, but you do get access to all the recordings. So think of it like Netflix. You can tune into who you want, when you want, for what you want. You miss them, you have call recordings, you can stream at any point. And a lot of gems in there, vendor sponsored deals, and really good people. And I want to share one last thing, and then I'm going to shut up and turn it to you. I went out to dinner in Orlando with 2 companies that are competitors, and they're both in the Pitch Pro movement. I went out to dinner with them out at RoofCon. I actually went out with another one, the one you mentioned that's doing a video at RoofCon. And this is just to explain the caliber of people. 2 competitors in Orlando. Okay. I'm going to leave names out. This gentleman says, I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. His competitor, as we're eating our ribeyes, I always go out for steak when we're out there. He says, dude, go on vacation. I'll watch your jobs while you're gone. This is the kind of people that are in there that are supporting each other. And we have a no BS policy. If you're inconsiderate, rude, breach confidentiality, you're getting kicked out. We're not, this is a coveted space of growth to help everybody smash their income goals faster, easier, and surrounded by like-minded people. And I'm so honored to have you as part of it, because of a serendipitous thing of me coming to you to say, hey, I'm doing this new thing. And then you're like, let me open the books to some ideas for you. And then I left that call. And I don't even think it was I think it was 24 hours later. I'm like, Jim, I just realized I can only help in my sweet spot.
Yeah.
People need marketing to grow. Will you join?
Yes, so, I did. I said yes, Adam.
Said yes. So did I? Anyway, it's been a blast, and you're invited to join. Jim will put a link.
It's been great so far. It's so fun to be able to help people achieve optimal success in their roofing business. That's what we're all about. That's what we do that's what we try to do and live on a day-to-day basis. So it's great to be part of that. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.